Hello, everybody. I am the inspector, and today I will do my long overdue 30 subscriber special. I know I have a lot of subscriber specials to catch up on, but I thought I just got a great idea that's quick and easy for it. So I thought I would go ahead and do it today. Now, this idea comes from the fact that starting tomorrow, I will be going on a trip to Disneyland / California Adventure. So I will be, one moment. I will be occupied for the next 7 days. I might try to get a food review in there somewhere, maybe. Because there's plenty of food, I'm sure, at the park. But otherwise, I'm going to want to, step back from the inspector for the most part. At least in terms of content output, although I haven't been as consistent as I'd like to be. So, without further ado, we should just get into this. Last summer, I visited Universal Studios in Hollywood, California, and I realized I did not do a rate. I should do this subscriber special, rating each one and then ranking them after the fact. So that here is the famous whiteboard. And I will now do I have the list of the rides on here. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. But, yeah, so the first ride that comes up here on the listing on the Universal Studios website is Dino Play. Now, I think this is just for kids. This is like a playground that's dinosaur themed or Jurassic Park themed. So I will give it. I can't say I can really rate this one. If I was younger and actually able to go on it, maybe, but I'm just gonna have to give it no rating because it's not really possible for me to rate it as it's, even though it's listed as a ride, I don't think it really is technically a ride, and it's just a playground for kids, so there's not much to say from me since it's a playground for kids. Now the Kung Fu Panda Adventure, that I do remember, and as a kind of that, it's one of the many rides there where you sit down in a row. There's a row of seats, and they're kind of you're just kind of watching a 3D video, but it's like they try to make it immersive, so it's like you're there. Your seat rocks a little, and water sprays and stuff. Not bad, but I do think that the Minions one is better. So this kind of pales in comparison to that. Still, there was an impressive amount of detail in the ride and effort that went into it, and it was a lot of fun. It was humorous and it was entertaining. I'm gonna have to give this one a solid 7 out of 10. And yeah, that's really our first ride. At Universal Studios. Now, Revenge of the Mummy. This one's a bit better. It's a kind of a short roller coaster ride. Very, very impressive. Very breathtaking. Definitely what you want in like a, it's kind of like a dark roller coaster. So you go in and you can't see anything, but you're zooming around. It's a lot of it's pretty fun. But I don't think the first half is really energetic, and then it kind of slows down once you go backwards, and it's not as, from that point on, it's not as exciting. It's still fun, but the initial blast goes, kind of like it dissipates, and so that would be that's Revenge of the Mummy. And that's, I'm gonna have to give that like a solid, solid 8 out of 10. It's a good ride. It's a good roller coaster, dark roller coaster ride, but could be a little bit longer, could have a more exciting second half. Still a lot of fun though. And definitely, a bit thrilling when, for a horror-themed ride. That is kind of what you want. Transformers, the ride, I did quite like this one. Again, it was more of a 3D kind of thing, but it was more... There was more to it. You were in an actual cart going around. It was much more immersive. There was like a part where, fire's being breathed at you. Not literal fire, but they have like heat, and it's like you're there. It's pretty impressive from a technical standpoint, and from an immersive standpoint, it's pretty good. Not the graphics are a little out of date, but I can't blame the ride for that. It's very enjoyable. I think I'm gonna have to give this one at least a 9 out of 10. Just for pure enjoyment's sake. It's pretty solid, immersive, semi roller coaster ride. Not really though. I don't know what you call that kind of ride where it's like you're zooming through the environments. I don't know if it's like interactive ride or what. And then we have the Secret Life of Pets. Off the Leash. And that is, again, it's a bit shorter than I think you might want, but but it was actually it was surprisingly more creepy than I expected, and I like that for a ride that's, more so directed towards kids. It had a kind of a gritty atmosphere to it, which was surprising. But it was also, the sets were impressive, the detail had gone into them, and it was overall pretty fun. I think it was about on par with Revenge of the Mummy, but in terms of immersion, maybe a little bit better, I don't know. I'm surprised to be saying this, but I'm going to have to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I did not expect to be rating this ride above this one, but to be honest, it's a little bit scarier, It's a little bit raunchier, and that was a very nice surprise. But was also, I think, the first ride that we went to for the day. So we went on all the rides in a day, and it was, as a starter ride, it was pretty good. But I do like all these rides. There's only one ride in particular that I dislike from the bunch. You know, when we get to that, I'll tell you why. But here we have the Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. Is that how you spell despicable? Okay. And I'm gonna have to give this one probably I don't know, I think I might have to give it another 8 out of 10. Although it was kind of similar to the Kung Fu Adventure ride, but a lot more immersive. I don't know if it was as impressive as Transformers or The Secret Life of Pets, so I think I will give it an 8 out of 10. Although I think Revenge of the Mummy was a bit better, so maybe I'll give Revenge of the Mummy, I'll change that rating to an 8.3. Yeah, that's a pretty solid rating here. We have, and then, you know, pretty good ride. But very similar to Kung Fu Panda, just a lot more immersive, more fun, a little more jolting, so, you know. Then we have Ollivander's Wizard Shop, which I did not visit. I think there's an interactive thing with it, but I don't know about it. So I can't give this one a rating because I was not there. But I don't think I would count this one as a ride either because it's really more of an interactive visit thing. Now the studio tour, Hollywood Studio, Universal Studio tour, and I think I'm just gonna have to give this one a 10 out of 10. Me being a filmmaker at heart, a movie buff at heart, I loved going on this tour, although I think our tram might have broken down a few times. From memory, I'm not sure. They were having some technical problems. But this was as a movie enthusiast, it was lovely to go on the tour of Universal Studios. And there were two like interactive parts to it that were a lot of fun. You know, I don't know how the studio tour compares to how it used to be, you know, because I know they've changed it a bit over time. You know, maybe it was better, maybe it was worse, I don't know. But from how it was last summer when I went to it, it was pretty dang good. Very informative, a lot of fun. Maybe not as interesting from a filmmaking perspective as the Paramount Studios tour, but that was but it wasn't that wasn't as much of a ride as this one was. So still pretty well done, pretty solid. We got to see a lot of sets. You got to learn a good amount of history. Yeah, it was pretty good. And then the next one is the super silly Funland, which I believe, if I can remember, Yeah, it's just an outdoor family play zone and carnival games area. Oh, but within it is the silly swirly ride, which I think is just one of those rides where you get in and you can control how high it goes, and it just goes around in a circle, and that's kind of fun, but there's not too much to it. I think it was nice. It went a bit higher than like the one that you would see at the Washington State Fair or something, Puyallup Fair, but it was kind of mediocre. I guess I would give it a 5 out of 10. It does pale in comparison to all the other rides, but I did still enjoy it. It was still a nice, it was still a good ride. So the silly swirly ride was definitely a 5 out of 10. I hope there is enough room for all of these rides. Then we have the Simpsons ride. Now this one was definitely the most dated in terms of presentation and graphics, but that was fine, because it's the Simpsons. It's not a big deal in terms of it's cartoonish from off the bat, so you don't need to have that sense of realism. This one was a lot of fun. I think this wasn't as well done as the Transformers ride, but I think it was better than the Secret Life of Pets ride. I'm gonna have to give it an 8.8 out of 10. Yeah, pretty well done. A lot, entertaining, funny, but still not as immersive or impressive as the Transformers ride, I think. Now, the Mario Kart what was this? Bowser's Challenge. Bowser's Challenge. This ride I did not like. Now I can see what they were trying to go for it with. Go for with it. You could. It's like playing the Mario Kart game, but as a ride. But it's just really lackluster. I mean, maybe for the kids this is enjoyable, but for me, I was like, not only was it not that thrilling as a indoor ride, but I would say the environments weren't very impressive, and the whole gimmick of it, where you're trying to I don't know, shoot down these enemies with the thing in the cart and bump into other players or whatever. I can't remember it that well, but that just speaks to how unmemorable I thought it was. Pretty, especially for the wait time, which is like 3 hours or something. It's really lackluster, very short too. I mean, there was you could tell there was a lot that went into it, but it just doesn't, it really pales in comparison to like every single other ride in the entire park, and that's pretty bad. I'm gonna have to give it I think I'm gonna have to give it a 3, just in terms of how much effort went into making it, obviously. I think set-wise, it was impressive, but also there could have been a lot more done with it. Could have been a lot more fun. It was rather disappointing for a Mario Kart ride. I think a lot more could have been done with it. I don't know if that's a controversial opinion or not, but that is my opinion. Now, our next ride here is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. And this ride was a 10 out of 10. In terms of being not only an interactive ride, but just, getting kind of flung around in the air in these giant sets with these giant props, and it really is the most immersive ride there, and probably the most thrilling as well. Maybe next to the Jurassic World. It's between that one and the Jurassic World one, but I think this one might just beat it out. It's really crazy. It's a spectacular ride, and it's one you're not gonna forget. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, 10 out of 10. Just super impressive and a lot of fun. Everything that you really want out of a movie ride, I would say. Now, flight down to 2. Flight of the Hippogriff. That's gonna have to be, I think, a solid 7 out of 10, right up there with Kung Fu Adventure. I think it's about on par, actually. It's a very short roller coaster. Actually, no, I think I'm going to have to give it a 6, because in truth, there really isn't much to it. It's really just a very short roller coaster thing that goes up, and then it goes, and then that's it. So very short, but it is, for what it is thrilling. But it, being in the same area with the Forbidden Journey ride, it really does pale in comparison, and it's just, there are definitely better rides with more stuff going into them. But it is a fun little thing. I did enjoy it. And then we have Jurassic World. The Jurassic World ride, and this is going to have to get, I think, possibly, I'm going to have to give it a 9.5, because I don't think it reaches the heights of the Forbidden Journey. And I don't have a bias here, I don't really like either Harry Potter or Jurassic World. But in terms of rides, this one was more impressive. But Jurassic World was still really great because the whole ride is very tense. It's actually kind of scary. It might be the scariest ride, although I think Forbidden Journey might be a little scarier. But it is like, the whole ride is this build up, because you know that this giant T-Rex or whatever it is, I know it's not a T-Rex anymore, but whatever dinosaur it is, it's the build-up to encountering it, and once you do, then you have a giant drop, and your soul lifts out of your body. It's crazy. But yeah, the whole ride is a lot of fun. Feels dangerous. That's the thing. The more dangerous a ride feels, the higher it's going up in my book. I think Jurassic World got pretty close, but Forbidden Journey beat it out just by a little bit, just by feeling a little bit more dangerous. I guess also you could it felt like you were gonna fall out of the ride in Forbidden Journey, and that that really raises it to 10 for me. Jurassic World, there wasn't that kind of danger, but it was still pretty scary. So yeah. So, all in all, this is all the rides at Universal Studios, California, Hollywood, California, I think. Yep. And not counting Dino Play or Ollivanders, we have, in terms of ranking from worst to best, we have Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge with a 3 out of 10. Super Silly Funland's Silly Swirly Ride at a 5 out of 10. Flight of the Hippogriff at a 6 out of 10. Kung Fu Adventure at a 7 out of 10. Despicable Me Minion Mayhem at an 8 out of 10. Revenge of the Mummy at an 8.3 out of 10. The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash at an 8.5 out of 10. The Transformers ride at a 9 out of 10. The Jurassic World ride at a 9.5 out of 10, and oh shoot, I forgot the Simpsons ride. The Simpsons ride comes in between The Secret Life of Pets and Transformers at an 8.8 out of 10, right up there. And then, Jurassic World 9.5, and then Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey 10 out of 10. And because I'm biased, the studio tour would come the highest at also a 10 out of 10. But yeah, I think that, although in terms of thrills, the Forbidden Journey does come higher than the studio tour. But yeah, so that is my ranking of all the rides at Universal Studios in Hollywood, California. And I don't know how this compares to my Dune timeline video, but I think this was hopefully a good subscriber special for 30 subscribers. Certainly, I mean, I have more than that now, but that is that's the deal. So, here's my ratings up close. Alright, and that is it for my 30 subscriber special. Hope you all enjoyed. Better see 58 views or higher on this video. And yeah. Hope you all are having a good day and take care. This is the Inspector. Signing off.